Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakudash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, honors to all the brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith, and Shalom to all the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on two earthquakes that rattled Russia. So, through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. Says two earthquakes shook Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula on Saturday, according to the United States Geological Survey. The region, already one of the most seismically active in the world, continues to experience heightened activity following a series of powerful events earlier in the year, including a record-setting 8.8 magnitude quake in July. Said no injuries or significant damage were immediately reported from the latest event Saturday, but seismologists continue monitoring for further aftershocks and risks to the broader Pacific region. The ongoing seismic activity in Russia's Kamchatka region highlights the persistent threat posed by the Pacific Ring of Fire, a tectonic zone responsible for frequent and sometimes catastrophic earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. The July 2025 8.8 magnitude earthquake was among the strongest globally since the 2011 Tohoku disaster in Japan and prompted tsunami warnings across the Pacific, including in the United States and as far as French Polynesia and Chile. This cluster of quakes serves as a reminder that large subsea seismic events near Russia can trigger trans-Pacific tsunami alerts with possible effects for Alaska, Hawaii, and the U.S. West Coast. The pair of earthquakes that struck Saturday were both moderate in strength, measuring at 5.2 and 5.3 magnitude, according to the USGS. The USGS has recorded at least 13 distinct earthquakes off the Kamchatka Peninsula in early October, ranging from magnitude 4.4 to 6.1, and at a depth of 6 to 46 miles, about 10 to 75 kilometers. The strongest of these, a 6.1 magnitude event, struck about 112 miles southeast of at a depth of 11 miles on October 3rd. Says no tsunami warnings were issued and there were no immediate reports of injuries or property damage. The Kamchatka Peninsula's ongoing sequence of quakes followed a massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake in July 29th, the strongest recorded in Russia's Far East in decades. That quake, with an epicenter 74 miles southeast of Petropavlovsk Kamchatsky, was shallow and lasted at least 3 minutes. It generated tsunami waves of up to 5 meters along parts of the Kamchatka coast and forced tsunami warnings as far away as Japan, Hawaii, and parts of South America. The July quake was followed by significant aftershocks, including a 7.8 magnitude event and subsequent clusters of moderate to strong quakes ranging from 4.4 to 6.1 in magnitude. Despite the scale, injuries were limited and fatal outcomes avoided. The July 2025 quake produced a Pacific-wide tsunami that was weaker than expected but still resulted in wave heights of up to 19 feet in some areas of Russia and approximately 1.7 meters in Hawaii. Evacuation orders were issued across Japan, the Galapagos Islands, and French Polynesia. In Japan, 21 injuries and one indirect fatality occurred during evacuations, while damage in Russia included power outages and water damage in coastal towns located on the Kuril Kamchatka subduction zone. Kamchatka is prone to frequent seismic events due to ongoing tectonic activity between the Pacific and Okhotsk plates. Experts have warned that aftershocks and additional strong earthquakes are likely to continue, according to a USGS forecast published soon after the July event, which projected a 24% chance of another magnitude 7 or higher earthquake in the months following. Yeah, so this is what the men of the Lord are speaking about. The earthquakes happening more frequently and being more intense and destructive and deadly. Same with the fires and the storms and tempests. These are all signs of the last days, signs of the Lord visiting this world. And the men of the Lord have been warning people for decades, starting, of course, with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, letting people know, like, hey, we are in some very dangerous times. But a lot of people don't take it seriously. And then they get caught up in these judgments, and everybody wants to act surprised as if the men of the Lord haven't been warning them. First and foremost, the men of the Lord. And then you have these seismologists warning people, meteorologists warning people, and people just don't take it seriously. That's why in Proverbs 22 and 3, it says, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." Majority of people out here are simple. They don't take anything seriously. They don't heed the warnings. And then when they get caught up in the judgment, then, they want to act all surprised. But it's like, no, so many people were warning you that these events were going to take place. You didn't take it seriously, and that's on you. Isaiah 29 and 6, "Thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake, and great noise, with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire." And we've been seeing a serious increase in earthquake activity happening all over the world. And this is a sign of the Lord visiting. Same with the storms and tempest and the fires. Matthew 24 and 7, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." And when you look up the definition of diverse, it means many or multiple. And there are earthquakes happening all over the world, ranging from different magnitudes, and then same with the aftershocks. But the scriptures have spoken about these events taking place. So that's why when these events happen, those of us of the hopeful elect are not surprised, because it was spoken about in the scriptures. 2 Ezra 9 and 1. "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before." Verse 2, "Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." Verse 3, "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world," and there's plenty of both. There's plenty of earthquakes happening throughout the world and uproars of the people in the form of protests because of the wickedness that's going on within these governments that's affecting the people. Verse 4, "Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning." Verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Verse 6, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And these earthquakes are some of those signs and some of those powerful works of the Heavenly Father. Psalm 79 and 6. Pour out thy wrath upon the heathen that have not known thee, and upon the kingdoms that have not called upon thy name. And that's exactly what the Lord is doing. Pouring out his wrath upon these different kingdoms in the form of fires, in the form of earthquakes, in the form of hurricanes and monsoons and typhoons and tropical storms, bringing just nonstop judgment upon these wicked kingdoms and these wicked people. Just as the scriptures said, and just as the men of the Lord have been saying according to the scriptures. Luke 21 and 22, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. And clearly we're in the days of vengeance. That's why there's so much judgment happening all over the world. Because this is the Lord's judgment. This is his wrath. This is his vengeance being poured upon the earth to punish these wicked people for their constant iniquities, just as the scriptures foretold. Second Timothy 3 and 1, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. And that's right, dangerous times. And we see it. And the danger is just increasing. And that's why the men of the Lord are constantly saying that we have to stay locked into these scriptures. We got to stay circumspect. We got to stay prayed up. Because it only is going to get more intense and chaotic and destructive and deadly from here. Hebrews 10 and 31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. And that's right. It is a fearful and terrifying thing to fall into the hands of the Lord. And through his judgments, the Lord shows you why. When these judgments hit, there's nothing you can do. You know, if the Lord wants you to be affected by these judgments, then that's what's going to happen. You cannot escape that. And these wicked people who think everything is a joke and everything is a game and they don't take anything seriously, they're about to find out the hard way that the men of the Lord were telling them the truth the whole time. That the Heavenly Father very much does exist, and he is very pissed off with the continual wickedness that's been taking place on this earth. And he is going to punish all these wicked people, whether they're men, women, or children. None of these wicked people are going to escape that judgment. And they could think that it's all fun and games and funny until that judgment comes, until those spirits that are created for vengeance are unleashed upon them. And those of us of the hopeful elect, we're going to just sit back and watch it play out. Because we played our part and we warned the people. If the people don't listen and heed the warnings, what happens next is on them. And we're about to see what happens next. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. Closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, the water Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, for putting his spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Honors to our brothers who are still fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And shalom to our sincere believers. I hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up in Ottawa Ratazah, which means Lord's will. Until next time, Shalom.